Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome. Go ahead and take a seat. I'm sure we'll have more folks joining us. We tend to be a little bit late, and you may have noticed we're trying to start on time-ish, so that folks online know that this starts about the time it's supposed to start, and that we start getting in this habit of being here on time. So we try to have what we call like a soft launch, right? A soft start. So good morning, I am Ginny Castleberry, and I am your mistress of ceremonies today, your MC, and I'm excited to be here. And apparently we had a Ring of Fire solar eclipse yesterday. And I told a couple of people, I was driving in the morning, decided to call my sister while I was driving. She's in Houston. And she picked up and went, "And it burns, 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 the ring of fire." And I'm like, "Why are you singing Johnny Cash to me?" And she said, "Well, you know, the ring of fire." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "There's a solar eclipse today. It's not a true one, it's a ring of fire." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that." So that was my experience with it. Did anyone else actually like get some cool glasses and take oh, nice. Or at least look at the shadows? Alice posted some amazing pictures of shadows. I saw lots of people doing that because apparently you could see in the shadows of things that eclipse. So I'm sure someone could tell us what amazing mystical and spiritual things happened with it. What I want to start with today is to say, take a moment and silence your devices that make noises, if you would. It's just a little distracting. And we're also flipping things nowadays where we do announcements at the beginning rather than the end. So I want to go through some things. Everything I'm going to tell you about is pretty much on our website, altheacenter.org. You can always check that out. Most of it is in your program as well. Or you can just ask someone who looks like a busybody that would know all this stuff, which is a lot of us here. We have community connections every Thursday on Zoom. We've had it for years now. Kathy Humphreys in the back is the person who makes that happen every Thursday. So jump on. It's free to all. Thursdays at 11 a.m. to 12:30. What it does is help us stay connected. It's a discussion group. It's going to be different every week. So check that out. We also have a book club. Now this is in person on Thursdays, 2 p.m. to 3:30. The Reverend Arica King, right there in the front in her beautiful purple, facilitates that group. So talk with her and find out more about that. We always try to keep you updated because we are in the last quarter of our campaign to raise $100,000 for this place because of its 100-year anniversary last year by the end of the year. We are more than 2/3 of the way there. We have, in fact, we're so close to 3/4 that we need your help to get there. $27,000 is all that is left. So when you give today for the general fund, I'll call it, also give a little extra because it's part of why you see new carpet and painting and no more flaking paint. But we have more to do, right? Building's 100 years old. We have more to do. We also have, we want to make sure everyone knows, if you're new to our space, praying in affirmative prayer is a big part of what we believe in. We believe in the power of prayer to change events. And so prayer partners are a group of practitioners who have been specially trained to pray with you and for you. And at the end of our service, you're going to have an opportunity to raise your hand, have a mic, and tell us someone you'd like us to pray for or pray for yourself. We also always have, after every Sunday service, immediately after, usually behind these walls in the historic library, one-on-one. If you want to have a one-on-one prayer session with someone. And that person today is it you, Kendara? No. Who's our prayer partner today? There you are, right there, waving in the back, okay? So that is the wonderful human that's going to pray with you. Or if you want to keep it anonymous, or it's just the way you roll, you can always go on our website, and we have a portal there where you can anonymously or not anonymously share a prayer that you'd like to have for someone, for the world, anything like that. But that's always available. Some cool things that are coming up. This coming Friday night, right here, 7 p.m., we have a repeat performance of the Magical Healing Mead ceremony, M-E-A-D, that honey liquor that people drink. So let me just tell you a little bit about it. During this ceremonial gathering, the person who's putting it on, Aaron, will blend together ancient and modern mystical traditions to bring an activating experience to participants, invoking the sacred power of mead. Mead has a long history as a symbolic representation, as liquid light of consciousness. And you can read all the rest, but it was a hit last time, and so he's doing it. Again, go to our website to buy a ticket. It will fill up. It might already be almost filled up, so check that out. And then next Sunday, bathe in the sound and vibration of, I do not know how to pronounce this, P-A-I-S-T-E, pasty, okay. Pasty earth gong and other sacred sound instruments. It's going to be right here, 12:30 to 1:30. Now, is this our good friend Greg Wilkins? Oh, he just has a new description now. I guess, okay, it's new to me. Anyway, gong baths happen here every month, once a month, right on this stage. You have time to come be with us on Sunday. You have time to eat lunch, and then you can be bathed in the vibration of a gong. And if you want to work on getting organized, professional organizer and Althean, Bev Sullivan, Bev, where are you? I saw your beautiful face. There you are. She's offering a class at the end of the month right here to tackle your dreaded paper files and other piles, I'm guessing, you can help us with. So learn easy, step-by-step proven methods of elimination. So talk with her, sign up online, be part of that. Let me see if there's anything else activity-wise. No. I think that's mostly it. So what we would like to do is, first we have a couple of acknowledgments. We do feel that it is important to acknowledge that this is the sacred land of the Cheyenne, the Arapaho, and the Ute peoples. They were here long before we took their land. It was sacred space to them, and so we try to honor that it was sacred. We hope that it helps us in our sacredness, and making this not just a statement that's empty, we make sure we give back to that community. We have 2 nonprofits who house themselves right here. Spirit of the Sun, Sisters of Color United in Education. They work in activism in this community to help many different people, but definitely Indigenous folks as well. Then we also affirm our diversity. Because we are diverse spiritual seekers, we are growing in our diversity, all of it, race, gender, sexual orientation, age, ethnicity, background, physical ability. We know we don't represent everyone here every Sunday, and we're trying to be more representative and bring folks in and make sure that we don't just invite them to the dance, but that we dance with them so that they feel they belong. So help us get to that place, because we're not there yet, but we're doing what we can. And now I get to welcome the folks who are here for the first time. Raise your hand if this is your first time at Althea. What? It's not your first time. No. Bill, I have seen you. I know it. It's your doppelganger. He just wants a flower. So raise your hand if you want a flower. Apparently we have extra ones. We can just say that. There we go. You don't have to be a first time. So lunch is on us, Bill. It's always on us when it's your first time. So welcome, welcome. Now, I'm your MC today, but I want to tell you about a few people you're going to see who are going to be participating today. So the amazing Alice Brink will be up in a second to do our opening prayer. Daryl Johnson is going to lead us in Statement of Being and Face of God. You're going to also hear Daryl introduce our amazing speaker today, who is from our own membership, and we're so excited to have Kiefer. You're a keeper, Kiefer. I'm sure you've never heard that one. He will be speaking to us today, and so Daryl will introduce him. Barbara Vale, our very own board member, will also be doing a reading, and we also have a musician. We have so many cool people who are going to be part of what we are doing today, and I'm not going to be announcing them all, so that's just why I wanted to make sure that everybody gets their say. And just a minute here. The message, I apologize, Modesto Garcia. You're our message man. You're giving us the special message. Kiefer, you're going to be our musician. Are you ready for that? I'm looking at the wrong person. Okay. I swear I looked at pictures. It will all work its way out. So you don't have to jump up and be our musician. Not this time. Maybe next time. So I'm going to turn it over to the amazing and wonderful Alice Brink.
No pressure to be amazing and wonderful. Okay. It's such an honor that we get to pray together. It's our outward demonstration of an agreement that we are lining up with the God source divine energy and that we're in partnership. And actually, if we could embrace the idea that we are vital to that interchange and we're bringing that energy down to manifest here, boy, aren't we amazing and powerful. So I invite you to close your eyes now. Nice deep breath, releasing all that's happened so far today and this week. Allowing our attention to drift down into our mighty, powerful heart center. And breathing now as if we could breathe in and out from the center of our heart. And acknowledging that we can bring the energies of peace and love and harmony into this plane of existence with our intention and our loving, mighty heart energy. Let's allow that peaceful energy to plant and grow like seeds growing into tall trees in the center of our heart, expanding out beyond the walls of this building. Peace, peace, peace. Beyond the walls of the building, beyond Denver, beyond Colorado. And now it's circling the globe, focusing the energy where you are called to send the energy of peace into the world. Sending the energy of peace and harmony, turning the hearts of men and women toward peace. Flowing that energy of peace and love and harmony. Now, an appreciation that this is in line with the law and the word and the divine order of the universe. Pull that peace back in. Pull it back into the center of your being. And be the peace. Allow your entire body to be peaceful. Notice now where in you need peace. Notice you can send the loving intention and energy of peace to your mind, your body, your spirit. Feel the mighty, mighty powerful energy of connected peacefulness among your fellows in this moment, in this place. Know that you've created a mighty thing. In the name of the Mother, Father, Spirit, and God that lives within each of us. Amen, and so it is.
Good morning. Please stand as you're able and join me in the face of God. And our statement of being is what we'll do first before that. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. We are a family. You are the face of God. I'm happy to introduce our featured musician today, Kiefer Mansfield. His musical career began at an early age. He started off playing the trumpet in the school band and quickly was drafted into the choir for his ability to read music. Vocal music became his passion and still is today. With a bachelor's degree in musical theater from the University of Northern Colorado, Kiefer went on to travel the country singing and dancing at Six Flags, Busch Gardens, as well as various musicals. He also had the chance to sing backup for Sarah Brightman, as well as the ever-fun B-52s. Kiefer finally skipped the pond to sing in Ireland, as well as perform in Japan for almost 2 years as a lead singer at Universal Studios' Japan Live Rock and Roll Show. His travels eventually led him to New York City, where he performed off-Broadway, created roles in multiple stage readings, worked on a variety of studio recordings, and performed in the film Made for Each Other, and lastly shifted over to the producing side of Broadway. Kiefer's a close personal friend of mine. We've known each other for about 10 or 12 years. We sang together in the Denver Gay Men's Chorus. And now he is here at Althea Center. So please welcome Kiefer Mansfield.
Anytime you laugh, anytime you cry, anytime you hear a sound, when you're on the grass, lying on the ground, anytime the earth moves, I'll be around. I'll be there in the baseball field, though I'm well concealed. I'll be out there cheering. I'll be there in the books you read, and it's guaranteed I'm not disappearing fast. Anytime, yes, not anytime. Oh, and I am there in music. I am there in sky. I don't know why this did happen, but this much is clear. Be aware, I am there, I am there, I am there, I am there.
Good morning. Today's reading is, the first one is from the Upanishads, which are the ancient mystical documents of the Vedas, the center of India's scriptural canon. And they're very often for meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes, sit back, just let the words wash over you as I read The Inner Ruler from the Isha Upanishad. The Lord is enshrined in the hearts of all. The Lord is the supreme reality. Rejoice in him through renunciation. Covet nothing. All belongs to the Lord. Thus working, may you live 100 years. Thus alone can you work in full freedom. Those who deny the Spirit are born again, blind to the Spirit, enveloped in darkness, utterly devoid of love for the Lord. The Spirit is one. Ever still, the Spirit is swifter than thought, swifter than the senses. Though motionless, he outruns all pursuit. Without the Spirit, never could life exist. The Spirit seems to move, but is ever still. He seems far away, but is ever near. He is within all and transcends all. Those who see all creatures in themselves and themselves in all creatures know no fear. Those who see all creatures in themselves and themselves in all creatures know no grief. How can the multiplicity of life delude the one who sees the unity? The Spirit is everywhere. Bright is the Spirit, indivisible, untouched by sin, wise, immanent, and transcendent. Spirit is who holds the cosmos together. In dark night live those for whom the world without alone is real. In night, darker still, for whom the world within alone is real. The first leads to a life of action, the second of meditation. But those who combine action with meditation go across the sea of death through action and enter into immortality through the practice of meditation. So have we heard from the wise. In dark night live those for whom the Lord is transcendent only. In night darker still, for whom he is immanent only. But for those for whom he is transcendent and immanent, cross the sea of death with the immanent and enter into immortality with the transcendent. So we have heard from the wise. The face of truth is hidden by your orb of gold, O sun. May you remove the orb so that I, who adore the truth, may see the glory of truth. O nourishing sun, solitary traveler, controller, source of life for all creatures, spread your light and subdue your dazzling splendor. so that I may see your blessed self, even that very self spirit am I. May my life merge in the immortal when my body is reduced to ashes. O mind, meditate on the eternal Brahman. Remember the deeds of the past. Remember, O mind, remember. O God of fire, lead us by the good path to eternal joy. You know all our deeds. Deliver us from evil, we that bow and pray again and again. The second reading is entitled The Buddha. When we study the Buddha, we realize that the Buddha is quite different from us, that we are not the Buddha. We have the potential, but not the realization or the proclamation to make. At the same time, Buddha is what we are. That is why we sit upright and breathe as Buddha, very simply. We too do not have to imitate anything, for Buddha is in us already. And now I'd like to introduce our speaker today, Modesto Garcia. He's a first-generation Mexican-American, born and raised in Brighton, Colorado. He's an Army veteran with a bachelor's degree in business administration and over 12 years' experience leading teams. Modesto currently serves on the Starbucks National Board Hora del Café Latinx Network with the mission of amplifying and magnifying Latino voices across the United States. He is currently earning his Master's of Divinity from Naropa University. In his free time, he pours back into his community by coaching basketball at his very own alma mater, Brighton High School. Modesto is passionate about his spiritual journey, being of service to the community, and is a member of Althea Center. Modesto Garcia.
Check. Here we go. Hi, everyone. I was so caught up in the service, forgot I had to speak. Such beautiful readings, such beautiful performance today. Such a beautiful day. I was able to sit outside and ground myself for a little bit before speaking. And about a month ago, I was asked to speak, and I was up in Red Feather on retreat. And while on retreat, better? Yeah. While on retreat, I got to really reflect on myself. Half of the days were meditative practice, either walking meditation or sitting meditation. And so allowing space in between, the gap in between, to allow this overloaded system to just slow down at the pace of life and allow what is coming in from within to come forth. And so while I was doing the practice and while I was in meditation with this group, I look around and realize there's several of us who come from all walks of life with the same intention. We've been climbing the ladder of success to then realize that the ladder's up against the wrong wall. And there's architects, there's folks that are in corporate America, There's monastics that have been devoted to their practice since the age of 7. And so we're all together in this container, really focusing on how can we make an impact, how can we make a difference, and it all starts from us. Each and every day, it starts from within. The 2 readings really talk about understanding that we have that light. If we can look within, we can understand that it's all within. As I'm studying at Naropa and really seeing Buddha's journey, started 2,600 years ago, and if you understand at that time, there was a civil, political, spiritual kind of conflict. And it was the divine time for Buddha Siddhartha Gautama to arrive. It was a beautiful time for him to arrive. The world needed his imprint. The world needed the drop and to allow it to resonate throughout the world. And so Siddhartha came from a world of wealth. He was in the ruler and warrior class. And Siddhartha was protected from the suffering outside of the palace walls. He was being prepared to be a ruler of men and women. And he was not prepared to see what was outside of the palace walls. And one day, he happened to step outside of the palace walls. He saw suffering. He saw old age, death. And he saw monks that through it maintained their ground, their center. And so that really left an imprint on him. And he then came to a realization that his path, the path that he was on, was not what he was destined here to do. He then dedicated his life at the age of 27. Something happens around the late 20s. Saturn return maybe. And he then decided to leave the palace walls. He left his family, a son and his wife, and he left his people on a 7-year journey to understand and find the ending of suffering, the cessation of suffering. Not for him, but for the world. And so he went on this journey, and it was, you can imagine someone who's been protected from the outside, from all the pain, from the dependency of someone bathing you even. There was this extreme wealth environment that he was growing up in, and so for Siddhartha to step out of those walls was very courageous. And not only was it courageous, but it was something that I remember some of us at the table, the same meditative group, one of the members there had said to me, well, why would he leave such a beautiful life? You have the wealth, everything that you want. And so some of the folks there were even in question, why would Siddhartha have done that? And so he was reincarnated and returned to that point in time in our lives to send the message of love, compassion, and transcend through love and compassion in a time when there was a Brahmin system, which was a system of you're born into this elite and you are welcome because you're born into this elite family, right? So there's a lot of individuals left out at that point in time. There was a lot of spiritual wanderers at this point in time. And so for Siddhartha to leave and try to understand a different path, a different way, and the message of this talk today is being a light upon yourself. He was trying to understand what that looked like, what the end of suffering was. So he practiced several spiritual practices as he was on this 7-year journey. Every time he would come towards mastery of this practice, he would say the same thing. He would say, this does not end suffering, and I'm not content. So he would continue on this spiritual journey. Towards the end of his practice, he was practicing this spiritual system, which was extreme austerity. So he was eating a grain of rice every day. And so his hair was withering away. He was suffering physically. And he asked himself, this is not bringing me any answers. And this woman comes up to him and offers him a bowl of rice and milk. And he takes that rice and milk. And he sits under the Bodhi tree. And he says, I'm not leaving here until I find the ending of suffering, of cessation of suffering, cessation of the end of suffering for mankind, for humanity. And so he sits under that tree. The woman allows him to be replenished. And all that were following him abandoned him because he partook in that rice and milk, which is against what their intention, what they were working towards. And so he sits under the Bodhi tree, and he comes to a realization, the only time that he's ever felt this peace that he's looking for was as a child in the palace under a tree. And his father was near, he was grounded, and he said, this is where I'm going to find the peace that I'm looking for. And so he sits under the Bodhi tree with that intention. And from there rise the Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths is, the first one is suffering. The second one is the cessation, grasping, continuous grasping. There's this emptiness that we're always trying to fill. There's this emptiness that no matter where we are, what time it is, it comes up. No matter how happy we are, there's a way. That grasping, you achieve this, there's another thing to grasp onto. So the grasping. Then the cessation to suffering, so the releasing of, cessation is extinguishing of suffering. And then the Eightfold Path. Eightfold Path represents a path that you've already walked at some point in time in your experience. It's a path that's within us all, that we've navigated, that we know that's in us. The Eightfold Path is a path that lives within us. And it all really brings us back to one of the biggest practices within the Eightfold Path is meditation. And so the practice of meditation, the practice of revisiting your thoughts throughout the day, your experiences, sitting down with yourself, allowing space between to see what arises, see what messages are coming through. And not only seeing them, but allowing them to go by like a cloud, not grasping onto that. So within the practice of meditation, we're allowing space in between. We're allowing us to make skilled decisions, more mindful decisions. We're incorporating everyone within that. And the more that we bring in compassion and love to ourselves and say, hey, maybe I did not navigate that experience the best. Maybe I hurt somebody there. Or maybe I said something that might have been ignorant. Or maybe I said something that might have affected someone else. Within that time frame, you are allowed to reflect on yourself, have compassion and love for yourself. And then at the same time, there's that space when you begin to really get to know your inner self, your authentic self. What are the words going on as you're sitting there in silence? What are they, your words? Are they someone else's words? Are they maybe your parents' words growing up? Are they a teacher's message? Are they even yours? Do you even connect with those words? And so that moment of reflection really allows you to refine and understand who's coming and who's showing up today and each and every day. Who's showing up? Is it you? Is it really how you feel, or is it something that you were taught? There was a story where a couple folks go over to India, and they're sitting there and enjoying a musical event. And within that musical event, there's a little boy, he's a beggar, asking for money. And he's walking around asking for money, and in that culture, he's less than, because he's a beggar, but he's a child. And so the little boy's asking for money, walking around. Everyone ignores him, except these two Americans that go to him. And as they were going to him, a dog bit the little boy. And nobody reacted. He's a beggar. And so the two Americans go, and they felt his suffering. They had empathy, and they ended up giving the little boy a little money. Out of that story, the author was talking about how the system in general created a numbness towards a child that was suffering, that was asking for some food. And so that story, I brought it up because it's really the empathy that we need to have towards humanity, towards one another. The quicker that we realize that we're all in suffering together, the more that we can be allies and support one another and build each other up through love and compassion is the intention. And when you're moving from that place and you're loving yourself, and you're reflecting of yourself, you then allow your authentic self to come forth. And it's a mirror. And so when you navigate this world and you see someone that's in pain and you meet them and ask them how they are, it's because you see them, you see it, you feel it. There's nonverbal cues that are everywhere. There's nonverbal cues that you don't even have to say a word and feel so many things. And so with the message, being a light unto yourself is really allowing your authentic true self to come forth and allowing your heart to be at the center, at the core of it, that compassion, that empathy. And empathy meaning I feel your pain. I might not be in the same position you are in your life at that point in time, but I can create space. I can be an empty vessel to then feel and understand where you are and be able to then be there with you and allow that, draw out or allow space for that inner eightfold path. You know the answer. It's all within. You don't have to seek external to find out where it is that you're going. It's all within. Just allowing the mind for a moment, day to day. I've been practicing meditation for some time now, 2019. I practiced so much and as if my life depended on it, because it did. My life depends on making sure I'm showing up in my authentic self, that I'm not reverberating or sharing stories from my past patterns that are not my patterns. And so within reflection and the beauty and the magic that happens within reflection, the phenomena that happens within it, through meditation, being grounded, you'd be surprised what comes about. One of my teachers said, if you sit down and you can predict what the meditation is going to be like, you're doing it all wrong. That's not the point of it. You have no clue what's going to happen when you sit down. It's an adventure. Changyam Trungpa calls it cool boredom. You're bored, you're boredom, right? But there's this vast playing field that arises, this river that comes through, and you have no control of it. And that's the thing in Buddhism, right? They speak about wanting to show our permanence in this non-linear, impermanent world. The world that we live in is not permanent, but there's this want to grasp and hold on and show the world our permanence. And if we really reflect about why we're here and understand what our purpose is and return to what our purpose is, it is very clear what the next step is. it is very clear what the next step is in our lives. If we remember why we came here in the first place, and the actions that are made on a day-to-day, the karmic actions. In Buddhism, they talk about karma. Every decision that you make, think about it as a chess game. You make a move, there's a repercussion in that move. There's a sequence of events that occur. You make a move, you're going to make a skillful decision, a skillful action. You see someone in pain, the little boy got bit. Oh, society says he's a beggar, so I'm going to move right along. We're numbed. Society numbs us to the suffering that happens. And so my ask is to really look inside, and the message in the Upanishad is, you are the light. It's within the sun. You're one with the sun. The atoms and molecules in the stars are the same atoms and molecules that make us this physical body. We have the same atoms and molecules in our bodies. So therefore, we're all one. And we share this, all sentient beings, we share this breath. We have this shared breath and unites us all. And through that shared breath, we can return to presence in our breath and allow space in between through meditation. And so, in my journey, I've definitely been reflecting on my direction, where I was going, where I'm going, and the path that I am destined to be. And it's always changing. But once you allow yourself to really come from the heart-centered space, the path, everything just remains so clear. And I realized I was going against the grain of my inner self. I was going against the grain of what I was intended to do here. And when you then realize that you're going up against the grain and you don't do things because maybe it's not supporting me in the way that I need it. But if you start going with the grain, the doors start to open and new realities start to unravel. And you always have that inner voice, wherein the other might say, that's not a good idea, career-wise, or financially, or this, that, or the other. There's all these perspectives that are coming in as you're making decisions in life. But you know the answer. You'll always know the answer. It's within. And look within. I'm going to need a time check. All right. And so, as we're navigating together as brothers, sisters, as we move forward, just keep your heart open. Sometimes as we leave our homes, we put on our armor suits and prepare for what's to happen. But my ask is to be aware. Navigate with awareness. Navigate with an open heart. And leave your armor at home. And whatever comes of it, just allow it to be. And there's no need to double down on our permanence. And allow for what is to be presented in our day-to-day life. Allow it to be, just be, and not grasp on. As Siddhartha's last breath, his biggest message was, be a light unto yourself. As Siddhartha then leaves our planet, one thing that was really beautiful about Siddhartha is he had this humor. He had this ability to represent and share a message that was never, that had never existed. So he came in through an enlightenment and wanted to deliver a message to humanity. And there was a point, right, when he attained enlightenment, he said, this is too much, I can't deliver this message. I'm going up against the political powers, the spiritual powers. I can't do this. There was a fear of what he was going up against. And so as he was sitting there, he had a moment where a Brahmin god visited him and said that they need your teachings, the people need your teachings. And so he devoted the rest of his life, I think he lived to be about 83. He lived the rest of his life sharing that message through the tools that he had obtained within the first 7 years of really trying to understand. He took so much from the Brahmin spirituality system. He took so much from his austerities. He took so much to be able to deliver this message of love and compassion towards yourself and transcending through love and compassion. And so, as my session comes to an end, I would say, allow space, allow time, be kind to yourself, ground yourself. Earth is here. We can trust that Earth will always be. The sky is above. We're sandwiched between Earth and the sky. We have trust in that. And as we navigate and as we move our day-to-day lives, let's remember and remind ourselves that we're in this together as sentient beings, whether it be your dog, your cat, whether it be a friend or someone that you don't necessarily resonate with. Show love and compassion and see what happens from that. And have trust in that. Thank you all for your time and sending praises, prayers to everyone, blessings. And if you want to talk afterwards, I'll be here too. Thank you.
My father's pride was in his hands, the piano was his soul. I watched in wonder as he played show tunes, miles off from rock and roll. What he loved, he taught me. Now music's what I do. And often when I'm writing in my hands, Dad's there too. If I sing, you are the music. If I fly, oh, why I'm good. If my hands can find some magic, you're the one who said they could. When the child who's still inside me finds a song in empty air, when there is joy in making music, it is you who put it there. My dad grew old, his hands grew numb, and now he cannot play. I came to visit, he sat and asked me, how could it be this way? I couldn't find an answer. I played this tune for him instead. My father sat there smiling, for he knew what it said. If I sing, you are the music. If I love, you taught me how. Every day your heart is beating in the man that I am now. If my ears are tuned to wander, if when I reach the chords are there, if there is joy in making music, it's a joy that we both share. I never told you, it took time till I could see that if I sing, you are the music, and you'll always sing in me. Yes, you'll always live in me.
Thank you, Kiefer, and our very own Rick on the piano. Wow, that was like being bathed in the gong bath of your voice. Whew, thank you. And now it is time for us to go from the spiritual to the financial. But they are connected. So you're going to see a basket go around the old school way to dig deep with cash or checks or jewelry, anything you want to put in there of value, because these lights don't stay on by themselves. We do have costs, and your contributions, your support are how we keep this place running. Now, that's the old school way. We also always have in the back what's called a dip jar. You can dip every time. It's $10, just touchless credit card way to give. We also have on your program always a QR code that'll take you right to our website. You can also go to our website to donate. We will take it any way that you'll give it to us. You can donate a little when you go into the dining room and you're paying already. Throw in an extra $10 and say it's for the 100-year campaign. It all helps. And so now we have our ushers here ready to give, and we would like for you to join with us. It should go up there here in a minute, right? There it is. And we all like to recite this statement together. The universe provides all that I need and all that I give. With great joy, I share my prosperity, planting seeds for a world I am helping manifest. And so it is. Amen. All right. Thank you, ushers. Now, I mentioned at the beginning during announcements that we like to open it up at this time to what we call prayers of the people. So this is an opportunity to be handed a microphone. If you have someone in your life that you would like a special prayer for, if you yourself, all we ask is don't use last names, just because we are out there on the ether with our service. So this is your opportunity to do that. And also use this time to let us know if we've prayed for you about something in the past, that let us know what happened. That's what keeps us going too. Please go ahead.
I wanted to say, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Dick and Lee. Thank you, Matthew. They've all been praying for me. I have been in the hospital again for, I guess as I would scratch my head, as the doctors say, the osteomyelitis that everybody prayed for me last year has spread, and it has gone down to the lower part of my spine again.
Okay.
Or whichever. I have an infection that is in my body, so everybody can continue to pray. I am home. I left the hospital on Sunday, so I am home with antibiotics to take it home. I'd say thank you to Chris, because I watched you every day on Channel 2. It kept me going while I was in the hospital. It's just a joy to actually be out of the hospital, that everybody had prayed for me while I was in there. And my biggest prayer goes out to Matthew, because he is actually there every day for me to actually help me take the antibiotics and things like that. So like I said, I am home with prayers. I'm not doing too well financially, to actually make sure that I eat proper meals and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I do have a nurse that comes out and, draws blood and stuff like that. So if anybody can help out with a little bit of finances, so make sure that I have, proper eggs and things like that, because these antibiotics are kind of getting to me very well. But like I said, thank you very much for all the prayers and things like that. I'm glad to actually be back here in church.
Good to have you.
And again, my name is Laura.
All right.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Thank you. Woo.
I'd like to pray for resolution in the Middle East on both sides, with love, peace, and healing for the greatest good of all.
All right. Thank you,
Amen.
Pandora. There we go.
I have to say I am actually shocked and appalled about all the rage and anger around the world that's being directed specifically at Israel. I mean, we're talking people in every country I've heard of demanding that they get burned and, turn on the ovens and all this other stuff, and I think it's horrible. I really believe that the world needs better consciousness than that. I thought we were over that from 100 years ago, and we're not.
No.
So I'd like to pray for uplifting of mankind and, get over the anger and the hatred, and what was done was horrible, and, war is not good, and I don't know what they're going to do. We're sending 2 carrier groups over there, and they're going to be in harm's way. So pray for the world.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Who's next? Who has a prayer or wants to tell us how some things went? Anybody? Did you? Oh, you're just holding the mic. Arica, did you want to? Okay, Arica, right down front.
My prayer is a prayer of thanks. Things have gone incredibly for me. I now have only a few finishing details for my book, and so I just offer thanks for that and certainly appreciate prayers that the finishing work goes well.
All right, congratulations on the birth of your book.
I would just like to send out a prayer for my family and just for unity, for a consciousness around cohesion and open hearts. And I continue to meditate on that every day, and I just wholeheartedly just pray that for my family. I just want to pray it into the universe. So thank you. And I don't need to reiterate, but yeah, just wherever there's unrest and discord and, everywhere in the world where we just find these unimaginable atrocities happening.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, there you go.
Yes, I'd like a prayer for Suzanne, who's usually here. She had a fall and has been unable to make it for a couple weeks now.
All right. Okay, thank you. All right, last call. Although, again, you can always go on the website. You can join us just behind this wall for a one-on-one session, and I think we're good there. So as we bring this Sunday service to a close, I want to say thank you again, Modesto, for sharing your journey with us. It was beautiful. And every time we hear the story of the Buddha and Siddhartha, it just enlightens us more. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kiefer, for your beautiful voice. And I want to say, you can do Broadway on this stage anytime, baby, like the whole show. Just make it happen. We'll talk to you afterwards. So thank you for that. And so as we wrap up, we're going, again, join us in the dining room, please. Are you doing a deep dive, what's called a deep dive after? Okay. All right, next time. So no deep dive today. We'll make sure it happens next time. No deep dive. We often have a discussion about the topic that happens after lunch. We're not going to do that today, so you get to run off and enjoy your beautiful day. And so as we wrap this up, we will have Daryl lead us in a community song, and then Bob, I think you're going to do our big hallelujah. So thanks.
Morning. So for our community song today, I'm going to do a little John Denver. So please stand as you're able and join me in Sunshine on My Shoulders. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a day that I could give you, I'd give to you a day just like today. If I had a weird song that I could sing for you, I'd sing a song to make you feel this way. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a tale that I could tell you, I'd tell a tale sure to make you smile. If I had a wish that I could wish for you, I'd make a wish for sunshine all the while. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. Sunshine almost all the time makes me high. Sunshine almost always. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, grab a hand. Get ready to shout it out. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is that thing called life. I feel it. I'm opening in compassion. I'm opening in love. And we're all in it together. I feel it. I know it. And so it is.